We were talking about the garage, and then we started talking about the table.
I mean, it's gaming table. We got the wall art tracks.
A little bit of the sink.
Like, hey, welcome back. Flash dance.
So, something gaming table, something racetrack. Play the montage.
Yeah, something gaming table. What was the other thing?
Something racetrack.
something gaming table, something racetrack. I have to build a gaming table for this client. He wants a table that looks like something you could never buy, a custom-made gaming table. This table has to house 4 PCs, 4 monitors, headphones, keypads, mouse, everything compacted into a table that looks cool and goes in this environment that I've created inside this garage. The design process for this desk was very intricate. I had to get out my micrometer, start measuring every little bit. I did so much research on the paint and the paint color and how it's all, no, I'm just kidding. I just did the whole thing design on the fly. Went right into Fusion, started making parts and pieces and cut them, and then see if they'd all fit together. So I made the desk behind with lap joints, kind of like those wooden dinosaur puzzles that you would do when you were younger. Now on the top, I've cut grooves out so they're going to nest inside, and the top part will act like trusses. So we're gonna give that a whirl and see how well it fits in there. Figure it's gonna be like working with a piece of bologna, because everything's so flimsy right now. That fits. Just don't want it to snap. And that fits. Okay, just like that. Perfect. So the top here, I have cut in half this way, and then at a diagonal this way. So when I have a seam going through a seam, and the smaller seam is at the smallest point between the two distances. You'll see what I mean. But it should act a lot more structurally sound, which will give me 1 inch thick just of the undermount. That doesn't do anything, that doesn't support any weight, it just looks cool underneath there. As I assembled everything, I noticed it just wasn't quite at the right height, and every little bit I can take off will save me in the long run of my overall height, because at the end, if I needed to be a ½ inch shorter, I know where I could have got that from. I immediately began to router out slot B, and then taking tab A over to the table saw and shaving a little bit off of that to bring it down a whole nother ½ inch. So while I was working on the table, I got a phone call from my client. He started off with, hey, I don't know if you can do this or not, which I immediately accepted as a challenge. No matter what he said, I was gonna do it. He continued with, would it be possible to make the headphones pop up out of the table? So I told him, absolutely, not a problem. I'll even have lights underneath there and some chrome parts and pieces, give it a whole lot of eye candy effect underneath that. So my first thought was to incorporate a scissor lift. Try to figure out some way I could conceal that, and then each individual one would pop up. But the idea that we ended up coming up with really elevated this whole table to a new design. This, with this mechanism that I was messing around with earlier, it's a total of 12 inches. The PC is 20 inches. Between here and here, I need 12 inches. With a ½ inch of space here, that's 12.5. Which puts me up to here. Now this also goes onto a 2-inch base. So now I'm all the way up here at 15. So that ended up being around 36 inches, which is just too high for a desk. To try to solve this problem, I could move it here, but now that's just between everybody's legs, and it's just not comfortable. You don't want to subconsciously be thinking, oh no. So we came up with the idea that this whole centerpiece is now actually going to come up. So now they can remove the headphones, they can press the button, it can come down. So when this comes up, I can have lights all around it glowing. And then they could bring it down just part way, the edge could be glowing. They still can do this, they can then move these wherever they want. Everything is gonna be awesome. We were so excited with the new idea and solving that problem. But that solution led to a whole new set of problems we had to solve.
If that doesn't get here in time.
I'd be worried about that binding. Let's cut this out and anchor it to the floor. But if the floor is this way and the desk is this way, it's gonna... What problem am I not seeing?
I don't know yet.
That is gonna be so sexy. Now it all has to be connected. Everything. We gotta take this as one heavy unit. All right, I love it, I love it. I love everything about this. This is gonna be awesome.
Good time.
This is gonna be awesome. Okay, so Wednesday we're gonna redesign. We ended up deciding to use a giant piston that was powered by a stepper motor that could lift 600 pounds, which should be overkill for this table. So while we waited for that to show up, I began working on the actual tabletop that everything is gonna sit on. Look at this. That is supposed to go around here. Obviously, somebody clicked the wrong thing. So I will be using the bandsaw and this and improving this. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to get this whole inside to come up and go down. I know I gotta move forward and answers will show up. So this is the cavity that the PC is actually in. I don't know yet if I have enough room for that to go all the way down and come all the way up with the whole surface. I'd like it to. Maybe it's gonna be a little higher for the shelf because I have to allow room for the actual PC unit that's gonna be underneath here. These are gonna slide in. They don't go all the way in because I want that kind of plus symbol on the base, which then goes around this. So the bottom of that slots into this. I have steel coming in with the steel X that goes around, footrests there. Obviously not that high. So right now I gotta solve this problem, and this is what I'm gonna be doing today. Just because I don't have a plan doesn't mean I don't know what I'm doing. A lot of thought, engineering, and math goes into every little part of this. So I'm just gonna let this next part play so you can see like actual footage of how we solve problems on the go. So when this drops down at 12, if we bring this up 3, then this will be 8. So if it's something more like this, it puts me at 10.5. The monitor is 9 wide, so that's 3/4 on each side, just at the top, 3 inches down. So it'll still get plenty of circulation, 3 inches at the back. It's open on the sides. So if that's at 9 inches, you know, that's a little bit larger than a sheet of notebook paper. So then I'm thinking, okay, well, if we divide it, so when it comes up, this is your own little space.
Yeah.
This 1.5 inches, so it's 3/4, 3/4 will lap joint in here.
Yeah.
We can attach everything on the bottom. We can do a nice finish into here. That also leaves us with room for a lip, so we could put like LEDs in here or something. You know, maybe right in here we have a grill, so it goes I don't know. And
oh, dude.
what's up, Dylan? Nathan and I were able to figure out and crunch numbers and math, business to get everything to work. And then the piston arrived. And who doesn't want to play with a piston? I measured out the height of the PC, and then I knew that was going to be on top of the slider part. So I had the spacing underneath there so I could see exactly how tall my puzzle cube needed to be. So the puzzle cube is almost like the heart of the table. It's the structure, but I also have to have area for wires to come up, wires to go out. The piston has to then mount on top without shaking, and I need to have a wide enough base that that thing is anchored. So I just jumped right on Fusion, blip, blip, bloop, blip. So put it on the jump drive and flew it over to the awesome plasma stand that Dylan still refuses to put a video out on. What I've done here is I marked it so I knew exactly how it went in the base. So make sure you paint over your mark to keep the excitement. Before we get too far ahead on that, let's jump down to talk about what's underneath this desk. Underneath the desk, I have a large steel X, and that is going to be mounted directly onto the floor. So I have trenches cut out so that pockets into it with the holes on top exposing the steel that I can now weld my mounting brackets for the foot pegs to go on to, still with the puzzle box all inside, anchored and strong, and nothing shaking and moving. Now I had to build the actual platform that the PC rides on so you can open it up, have access to the back, slide it back in, and it's all concealed nice and cool. In addition to the sliding platform, I'm gonna have these really sexy red handled metal cutout things with the polished aluminum handle. It's gonna look so cool. This will help give you a better idea of how everything is going to work and integrate into each other. And this also helps me get a better idea because this is all designed on the fly. I'm getting a good idea and a feel for how everything's coming together on this table. Now, after doing so much woodworking, you kind of get tired, so I want to jump into doing some steel work. So let's make some cool foot pedals, foot rests, but not really tall ones. When you're literally grinding and working with heavy metal, there's only one genre of music to listen to.
Chet Baker.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw what I just did there. I went ahead and lock these guys in there for me. Can't get them out. So now that I'm finished with the footrests, I have to weld on the mounting bracket for the footrests on the base, which is at the bottom, which is underneath everything, which means I have to take this desk apart again for the millionth time. So I grab my younger son, Alex, who apparently is allergic to wearing shirts. So most of the desk is primed up, and we're at a good pausing point because the desk isn't the only thing that we're building today. We're also going to be building 6 large racetracks out of aluminum. Now the aluminum that we used was 3003. If you guys know anything about aluminum, it's like gum. You have to use a single flute and a lot of lubricant. So we started off with Ryan and a can of WD-40 kind of chasing in front of the CNC as it's going. We had a lot to cut. So Nathan came up with a brilliant idea of putting popcorn butter in a water bottle and running it down and spritzing that in front of the machine as it's moving. My client doesn't only collect Ferraris, he also races them, and he has won at several tracks. I picked 6 out that would be really cool looking as a piece of abstract art on the wall. So when you come in, it's a 2-inch piece of aluminum that is this large track. So we have to make these tracks in sections and then all brushed along so it does this whole anodized look with the light. Those are then backed on a piece of 3-inch black PVC pipe that we trenched out 2 grooves along for 2 LEDs. So it illuminates inside and outside as well as chases around. Everything then is mounted 1.5 inches away from the wall so the whole thing looks like it's floating, and abstract, shiny, beautiful art that then matches all the other aluminum candies that we have all throughout this garage. If you've seen us build 1 track, then it's the same for all 6. So we're just gonna run a montage of the whole track building. While Ryan was working on the racetracks, I was able to focus on the gaming table, and I was about to hit a great milestone on that table.
Matt, hold on. I gotta explain something real quick. Let me take this off. Okay, so the racetracks and the gaming table are the last thing that we are putting in this garage. After that, we're done building things for the garage. However, this is not gonna be our last video on the garage. You see, over the last 9 months, we've made a lot of videos about this garage. And in that time, we've also sprinkled in some other projects we've worked on, like the John Wick room, the Alien, the Labyrinth Knocker, the Disney cruise ship stuff, just all kinds of other things sprinkled in there. So I want to make a best of / greatest hits of just everything that's gone into this garage, all the different aspects, all the different things we've built and put into this place. So that's going to be our next video. If there's any specific questions you guys have or anything in specific you want us to kind of expand on how we did or what we made, leave a comment below and we'll definitely check it out. We read every single comment. That is not an exaggeration. We read every single comment. So definitely leave a comment and we'll at least read it. So make sure you're subscribed because you're not gonna wanna miss out. And speaking of subscribers, I wanted to personally say thank you so much for 82,000 subscribers. I cannot believe we're already at that milestone. A year ago when we started, if you had told me that, it sounds cliche, but I genuinely would not have believed that. So thank you guys so much. We all put so much effort into the work we do and this channel itself. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys. Okay, let's get back to the video. I don't know where I threw the remote that I used to pause the video, so just imagine I have it back in my hand.
I am putting this together for the last time. It would be much easier for me if I took the time, Bondo, sanded, primed, gave that a nice automotive finish, then assemble it. I still have to make things on it. So move forward, assemble it, and then I'll finish painting it all at the end. So this will never come apart again, which means I am moving forward in a circular direction. Now, hopefully, I drilled my hole here, so the screw just comes right up there.
Yeah. Oh, you're good. Huh?
Yep, we're gonna see how strong everything is. We got this on the ground, thanks to Dylan. What I have to do now, this top piece goes onto here and it keys up to each one. On the inside is an A, B, C, D. On the top of this is A, B, C, D. So we'll know how it lines up. You can clearly see I painted this black and I've primed over my letters. B, okay.
Oh, and you can see, is that a D or an A?
That's an A, okay. Okay.
Can you see the black?
Nope. All right, let's see which way it fits on best. We're gonna pick it up and flip it because I gotta drill the holes. Perfect. We're just gonna run and gun. We're building. We all in?
Dude, this thing's awesome.
That is solid. That is solid. Ooh. Tripod that and pick that up. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, check that out. That was a good O. I didn't feel anything.
No, we can do that.
Is this the point where it's going to, this will be one part?
Whole thing's gonna be one part.
Whole table's gonna be one
part? It's gotta be, well.
How do you get this through the door?
It'll fit.
Oh, there's garage doors.
Like where this goes here, right? This will get another piece of MDF on it and then stacked out, so this has a lot of weight. but I need to stop the MDF here and here so I can insert my curves, and then that'll caulk and then all automotive black. So the headphones go here, but you'll never see it.
And then the table will raise up.
Yeah, and then it comes up. But before we do all that, let's put everything else on here so I can start to look at it. So I'm at the point now where I'm closing things up I'm not going to be able to get to, such as the lights that are in here. This gets a screw through here, through the aluminum and into the table. I have to put the light, the LED here, which means I have to paint this and paint this, then put the light in, then attach this, and then glue everything down, screw it, so then I can start on the inside. So basically I have to finish this piece off in here because I'm not going to be able to get to it again. Cool. 22 feet, and that's 19.6.
Oh, the roll.
Yeah, the roll. All we have here is failure to communicate. Are we plugged in? Everything's plugged in? Oh, yeah. Never mind. There. Hey. Black is positive on your LEDs, not the red. So I'd like the white to light up. So I'm stripping it down, getting it to light up. What colors? Ooh. Now that that's worked out, I gotta fish this guy through a hole and wrap 19.6 feet around a 22-foot circumference on this table. Get out my LED stretcher. Make it happen, Captain. Just like love, you gotta force it. Once I begin doing the final cladding on the legs, you can see that what the CNC makes doesn't fit perfect because humans have been involved. So maybe more glue in this crevice, maybe this screw went down a little too hard, but it's an easy fix. I can set it up, scribe my line, and trim it on the table saw, and fits in there perfect. I got real tired of working on the ground, laying on the ground, working, and I was like, man, if there's only some kind of like lifting device with like forks or something that I could like lift it up and make my life a lot easier.
Sorry, it looks like I'm pulling a face right now. I'm just trying to make sure it looks good in the shot.
The PC unit that goes in it's all open and exposed. I want to seal all that off. But when it raises up, I don't want to be able to see in there, and I can't put anything with any thickness. So the best thing to use is Max Metal. It's a solid piece of PVC with 2 pieces of aluminum on either side. The difference between this and Alumicore is corrugated like your cardboard. This is solid all the way through. Super thin, 1/16 of an inch. So I'm going to make these covers that then cover everything inside. And by doing that, I have to make it a little lip. The great thing about this stuff is you can cut it with a razor blade 3 times and then snap it like drywall. This is too flimsy, I'm so far out. And then this folds up. So once all the panels are in, everything gets painted flat black. Flat black is gonna make everything go away when this lifts up. Now to service this, it needs to lift up higher, but only like on certain occasions, and that's gonna involve switches of magic, and that's where Nathan comes in.
So we have a lifting column here in the middle to lift the center up, but the center is gonna come up like 24 inches, and we only need it to come up like 12 inches. So there are 2 limit switches that sit here in the middle that control the maximum down, maximum up of the column, but we need a middle portion. So this is a closed loop, and we're gonna tie into it, and we're gonna add a 3rd limit switch for a middle. So we'll put it somewhere in here, and we'll have like a piece of metal off the side of this cylinder. So when it comes up, it'll click it, and then if we override it, it'll continue up, and then it'll come back down, it'll stop, and then it'll go down, hit its bottom out, and it'll go between these 2 ordinarily. But when we want to override it, this switch is going to sit down in here, so we can reach underneath and click it to override it. So it'll sit right under here, you won't be able to see it, and only us will know where it is until everybody watches this video and knows that it's right there. All right, so we got it all wired up. Let me pull it out and show you what we got going on here. So this is the loop. So this is the outside limit switch. This is the bypass switch for the limit switch. So essentially this just goes past this. Over here, we got an adjustment. So this gets screwed into the wall of the side of the box, and then we can move the limit switch up or down. So then this guy goes down in here. So theoretically, it would be all the way down, and then you'd go up. That would be the table up. And then if you wanted to service it, we have the override to push it all the way to the top. And then that'll go all the way up so we can get in there and do what we need to do, fix anything that needs to be fixed. And then when you're done, flip it back to normal and it'll go all the way to the bottom.
Putting lighting on this table is a lot more challenging. There are so many nooks and crannies and great places to recess the lighting, but you also have to hide the wire, as well as everything is moving. I have to hide so much LED wire, and it's all 5-wire because they're all RGBW, as well as power, 110 volt. There's power for the monitor. There is HDMI cable for the monitor, a graphics card cable. There are headphone cables that have to go to the charging pad. All that wiring times 4, and everything has to be able to move up and down. And I'm only working in a 10-inch by 10-inch space where an 8x8 of that is taken up with the piston moving up and down and wires moving up and down and everything being able to have access to it. So that's a fun challenge to try to figure out how everything is going to get wired and concealed.
Oh, hello there. What I'm going to be doing today is making the fine adjustments. I have 8 of those. They go all around this. The nut cert gets screwed into the top of the 3/4 ply. Piece of all thread, I'm going to weld a nut on the end, then through the hole, then a nut and a back nut. 2 washers. That will go from here to here. It will all be concealed inside of this. So I have a gap here at the top. When I tighten this, it allows the top to pull down. When I loosen this, pushes the top up in 8 points all around so I can get the perfect seam. I don't think you understand how cool this thing is going together. It just clicks right in. Look at that. Oh. Straight up German, good and tight. Okay guys, I'm about to show you a really cool trick. It's very fast, perfect every time, totally easy to do, and you'll be like, why didn't I think of that? See this area here? When you pack Bondo in there and you sand it, it never comes out great. So you're gonna pack Bondo in there
slam a piece of PVC in there. See that gap? Once it just gels up, pop it off, razor blade the sides. Perfect every time, and fast. So the table is painted and cleared. And while that's drying off to the side, we still have one more thing left to do on these racetracks. So I've made these plaques identifying each racetrack as to where they're located. Daytona, Sebring, and it also brings a little color into it too, because each logo has a little splash of color in it. These plaques also, I made them standing off with the acrylic. They also act as the cover plate for all of our electronics behind there, such as our power supply, our controllers, our outlets. Everything is now concealed and it's an easy access. You just lift that plaque up, it comes right out. You don't need any tools to get access to it. The plaques were the last thing to do for the racetracks. The table is finished, but before we go to install those, let's shift gears and see how exactly I fixed this sink. In one of our previous videos, I built a transmission sink with Ferrari tire tread and gear shifters for hot and cold. Somebody, nobody sure who, went in and they tried to turn them on really hard and sheared off both hot and cold valves. So I have to fix that and make sure that that never happens again. And that solution that I came up with as I'm physically making it, and I checked my little comments, that's when @RacyDog nailed exactly what I was building at that moment. So the fix for that, of course, was to build a shifting gate, a Ferrari shifting gate. So the gate, which is made out of 1/4-inch steel, is not going to allow that to go any further. You're actually going to bend that rod before it ever thinks about bending that 1/4-inch steel gate. Come on now. Woo! Yeah, a lot of air. A lot of air still in there. So the first step in installing the racetracks is to assemble the PVC tracks on the ground. And after that, we can now put in all of our LEDs.
We're gonna start soldering now. Clean you up, there you go.
When Ryan was cutting out the PVC section for the tracks, I also had him cut out the same exact sections out of masonite. that is our template. Now we can Gorilla Tape that onto the wall and we can make sure everything is fit up and just perfect. Then we can drill directly through that masonite anywhere you want into the concrete. Now that can now be transferred onto the piece of PVC through the masonite, and your hole is exactly where it needs to be into the concrete to accept the zip toggles when we mount that onto the concrete.
It's gonna look awesome.
Okay, so I got all of them going. So we're gonna give this guy a shot. So out of the 6 racetracks, these 2 are the problem children. This one's got a busted strip of LEDs right about there on the inside. And this one looks okay, but it's the aluminum that's the problem, because the CNC goofed up a bit and cut it just a little wide. So when you put it up on there, it's taking up almost all of the PVC. So we gotta grind that guy down a little bit, and then it should be good. Figured out what these little clips are for on the soldering station. It's so when you solder on a ladder, it can hold on. What? Big moment of truth coming up here. Okay, it is 6:04. Tomorrow is the last day at this job site, so I need to get all of these glued. Yes!
Ryan stayed late finishing those tracks, which was perfect because I needed him to come in early the next day because we're installing the gaming table. The gaming table is all assembled and it is heavy, which means it's expensive, right? I needed 4 people, 1 on each end. Nathan was out of town, so I was asking my youngest son, Alex, to come down and help. Again, allergic to shirts.
Put a shirt on.
Whenever I asked why, I didn't get a reason, so I thought
I said, Bill told you to put shirts.
Yeah.
You just woke up, didn't you?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
There we go.
Okay, down. That wasn't bad. All
Yeah.
right, can you come with us?
What?
Are we planning on shuffling this all the way into the job site, or are we setting it on a little roller dollar?
Floor.
Pallet jack?
Pallet jack. I don't think you understand how airheaded we all were. I couldn't even say pallet jack. It didn't even occur to us to keep the table on the trailer and back the trailer up into the garage onto the platform. We were just so out of it. But luckily, Nathan called, woke us all up because he's at the airport. He's gonna be there to help us. And now we're all in a great mood to install this table. If you notice on the floor, we have our junction box right in the middle. Around it, we have set up 2x4s so it can gently go down on top of that, because we have to thread that box, which is about 5 1/4 inch square, through a 8-inch diameter steel circle with all the weight of this table. So,
Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle.
Yep, we're clear.
No way.
There was a lot of adjustments that need to be made here and there. We had to peel the tape off the LEDs. We had to install the footrests. We had to run power cords through the backs of the boxes. There was a lot of stuff.
It wasn't just set the table down and go home.
Yeah, it wasn't just set the table down and go home. It was, we had vents we had to put in. We had to wire the lights for their permanent position, because as you could see, the top came in and sat on. So now I have to trace all those wires down, solder all those together so everything works. Yeah, but it was exciting because this was going to be the very first time that even I saw the entire table assembled. The gaming table's in, the trailer's empty. Now let's take a look at the gaming table and racetracks and their final positions.